Hell yeah! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I'm Matt City along with the Darkwing Brian Daly and the Broken One, Mr. Rob Povia behind the board. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Gentlemen, the preseason's in full swing. The Flyers have one win to their name in OT. They have a bunch of OTLs, and they have one regulation loss. Is that really the end of the world? No, because quite frankly, the Flyers have been playing pretty competitive in all the games that they've been in pretty much since this preseason began.
Well, I mean, it's preseason. There's not really much you want to do with wins and losses this early in the preseason going into the season. This is just a time to evaluate the talent that you have.
Yeah.
Who's got the best chances of making this roster. It's just an evaluation period. That's really all it is. You already know that most of the vets are making this roster. It's what rookies do we have that will be an asset to this team. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'll tell you right now, man, rookies are already showing how much of an asset they can be. I mean, the defense has been holding up pretty strong for the most part, besides a few minor breakdowns right here and there. But really, when you look at the OTLs, what does that tell you? That usually tells you that teams are really going to have to try and break the defense. It's not actually easy. We're not losing 5-1. We're not getting blown out of games. I mean, yes, it's not the actual complete starting roster, but for the rookies, it's key. For the prospects, it's key to see them put up fights against, yes, not all the starters on the other side, but to be facing some of the starters and still guys who are on that cusp of NHL level, to be in the big arenas, to be playing in front of the hometown crowd and the away hometown crowd. To see them not breaking down under that pressure and to see them putting up pretty solid defensive efforts, even in OTL losses, it's good to see. It's good to see that progress is working, that the lessons are working, that their coaching is working, that their maturing is working. And then to add to it, for some of them, coming out and scoring goals right off the bat is another great sign right there for some of the prospects that we have going on here right now in our evaluation of our young prospects right now on the roster.
Yes. Couldn't agree more. I'm excited. Hockey's about a week away before opening night.
I know.
Woohoo! And I think we're going to see a lot of youth on this Flyers roster.
We are, man. We are. And if there's one person who's definitely going to be on this roster, one Travis Sanheim, who has scored 3 goals in this preseason. I mean, this kid is pretty much saying, guess what? If you don't want to put me on the team, then that is your own problem. There's no medication in the world to fix what you have, because at the end of the day, I am here. I have arrived. Put me on this team. There is no excuse right now. And really, there isn't.
No, there is no excuse. You got 2 open roster spots. You have 3 defensemen that are more than ready for their shot in the NHL. And Sanheim also said, I believe he said at the start of training camp, it's pro roster or bust for me.
Which I agree, 100%. You know, I mean, Sanheim's been sitting in the minors for about 3 years now. I think it's about time. Let the kid have a chance. Let him off the leash. Let him go play. And I think this is the opportunity. I think this is the year that he could finally do that. Let him do that. Let him show that he is ready for full-time roster.
Oh, I think he's ready. I definitely think he's ready.
Agreed.
Now, besides Travis Sanheim, which is the obvious one, gentlemen, out of what you've observed, who do you think is a shoo-in to make that other spot on the team that's open?
On defense?
Yes.
I think it's Samuel Morin. I think he's the only other one that – and I haven't gotten really much Flyers preseason hockey viewing in. I've gotten to see a bunch of other teams, but Sam Morin has paid his dues. It's his time to shine. And from what I hear, he's impressing. He's impressing a lot of people. He's being the physical presence that he is. He's got a wicked shot from the point. I think he should do that a lot more. But yeah, I think it's Moran's time to shine. I think it's his turn.
Rob, what do you say?
I agree. It's got to be Morin. I mean, it's what this hockey culture needs. You need a guy that's just an enforcer that's going to, punch a guy's teeth out a la Cesaro, I mean, there's a lot of impressive. I mean, it's going to be tough decisions because really, when you think about it, all these impressive rookies are really giving the Flyers some tough decisions. And I mean, you can't forget about Robert Hogg, who's been in this organization for quite a while. Is he deserving of a spot? Well, yeah, he certainly is, but there's only so many. I mean, I think it would be between Moran and Hogg, and I think just based on skill set, I think the slight edge goes to Moran.
I think so too. Like I said, the kid's paid his dues. It's his time. Have to.
Yeah, this is exciting, though, to see that this team is already – we're seeing guys coming out, prospects coming out saying, you know what, we want to be on this team. We want to be on this team now. Enough of the bullshit.
They're hungry, yeah.
Yeah, we've been down in the Phantoms long enough. It's time for us to leave Lehigh Valley, go right across the street to Philadelphia, and it's time to start playing some big boy hockey.
Well, if that's what you elicited, that hunger, that drive, then you can criticize, the patience at Hextall. You can criticize some of the roster decisions. Well, the means justify the end because now you have a bunch of young kids that are hungry and ready to compete.
Well, what's nice now is you don't have – well, you still have some guys like Andrew McDonald tied down in contracts, but you lose Jeff Schultz, you lose Michael Delzato, you lose somebody else I'm blanking on. Doesn't matter.
Nick Schultz.
Nick Schultz, yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
And
what did I say? I said Jeff, right?
Did you?
I think I did.
I'm doing too many dual production host things over here.
But either way, you're losing all these contracts. You have spots opening up for these young kids to finally come up. These bad contracts are finally starting to expire.
Yeah, finally. And finally, we're starting to see that light at the end of this tunnel that we got buried in because of just stupid decisions made in the front office. But with all that being said, though, right now, we're starting to see the progress is officially going to take its real big first leap. The first couple of times, it's small baby steps. You bring up Shane Gostisbehere, baby step. You bring up Konechny and Provorov, another couple of baby steps. Now you bring up Moran and Sanheim. You've got a much younger roster now. Now you're making a leap forward where you're saying, okay, we're going from being old to being young, and now we're really making the leap towards that.
Now, with that being said, Tom Arnone's chiming in on Facebook Live, and we would love it if you guys chimed in also. We want all the kids up. I agree. Frank Vespi also chiming in. Drew is adjusting to the wing. Hope that the kids get called up. Really excited for Nolan to see what he's got. Bernie Perrant says that he's the real deal.
And I'll tell you right now, Nolan Patrick, he too is skating perfectly fine. There has not been any issues. There's not been any nagging problems with his injury that he suffered. Really, when he said he was 100%, he must have really been telling the truth because a lot of times athletes will say, yeah, I'm 100%, and they're really only like 70 at best, and then they get themselves hurt again. He seems to be really 100% right now, and he's skating just fine. He's taking shots. He hasn't scored yet, but still, he's taking the shots. He's getting into the dirty areas. You saw him in front of the goalies all through Boston and New York. He's been doing that all the time in preseason, getting to the dirty areas too. Relatively overall, I mean, this kid is showing that he's got not just great scoring potential, he's got great two-way play to move along with it.
Well, the beauty part about Nolan Patrick is he doesn't have to score.
Yeah.
He keeps doing what he's doing, skating hard, getting into the dirty areas, taking shots on net. The puck will eventually find the back of the net.
Absolutely. And, I mean, like you said before, if anything is a sign of what we've seen coming, I mean, Travis Sanheim had a nice little shots that he's been putting by goalies. Once Patrick gets a few more breakaway opportunities, he'll be blowing them right by goalies too.
And I think the two topics are not mutually exclusive. They're connected together. The better Nolan Patrick does, and he's been very impressive in this camp, is going to eventually necessitate Claude Giroux moving to the wing. And I think that makes for a better team overall. And you could say positives and negatives about G, but throw out the negatives right out the fucking window because right away when he was asked, how do you feel about moving to the wing? He goes, whatever's best for the team.
That's a true captain there. That is what makes a good captain is a player that is willing to put the team first before his own gain.
Absolutely.
And jumping in off of a Nolan Patrick comment you made, Wayne DD Hogg comments, once Patrick finds his groove, the points will come. The talent is there. I agree.
Good. That's good to hear. I mean, and also this might even help Giroux, moving him to the wing. I mean, yeah, adjusting-wise, he'll have to adjust, but this may leave him with a little bit more opportunity to work on another side to kind of be able to more cheat. You know, when you're leading the attack, you can't cheat. You have to be careful because if you cheat up a little bit too much, you get hit. You don't cheat up enough, you get poke checked. So you got to kind of play. It's a very, very difficult thing to do being a center because you have to try and lead the attack, especially if you're the captain because everybody's listening to you. He can easily sneak around off to the side, and Patrick, if he leads the way, Patrick could easily just trick you. You're so mesmerized by Patrick, and you're afraid he's going to shoot. You forgot Giroux was sneaking in right behind you, and he can easily pass it right off to Giroux, and Giroux still has a nice shot. Even though he's more of a setup guy like you're saying, he still has such a nasty shot, and if he gets on accurate, he hits pinpoint. No doubt about it.
He loves that shot, especially on the power play from the top left circle.
Absolutely.
Or bottom left circle.
That's where
I guess it depends on your point of view.
Still, but that's where most of his goals come from anyway, you know? I mean, and he gets that, it's almost like his sweet spot, if you will. He gets on that shot, and he gets in that position. He usually scores 90% of the time. Deflection or not deflection, it usually gets in the back of the net.
I actually got a question coming in from Sean McGurman. Sean, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Says overall expectations for the Flyers this year, just over 500, under?
I would say over, not under. I think this team did not regress. So if they had regressed, then yes, they'd be under 100, but under 500. But I say they're above 500.
What are you thinking, Rob?
I'm here. I'm thinking.
That's okay.
Just because they can't see me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, while you think of your...
I think it's got to... I just wanted to make sure I was confident in this, right? They were 6 games over 500 last year. And this team is definitely going to improve based on the off-season activity, bringing up younger guys. I mean, you know, younger guys will struggle, right? But not when you're led by Konechny, Provorov, and Gostisbehere. So, yeah, no, I think they're well over 500. 10 games over 500.
I'm actually was about to say that. 10 games over 500 sounds about right. I think they just missed the playoffs by, like, I'm going to say 6 to 8 points they'll lose on a playoff spot.
So basically the coin flip.
Yeah.
That's basically how they miss. So, but that could go either way. They could do it 50%. They could make it. That's the way it is.
They're not missing out by much.
But that's only really attributed from what you're saying due to the very difficult conference that will be the Eastern Conference because the Flyers are going to have to compete with everybody below number 3 in the divisions because, unfortunately, the teams that are leading the divisions, they have not shown signs of slowing down. So... I mean, Ottawa might get chipped out by Tampa Bay. That's the only thing I could say that could be a change. Other than that, though, I mean, it looks like those divisions are still going to be 1 through 3. It's one of those teams.
Yeah.
And our division is not changing. 1 through 3 is either going to be the Rangers, the Penguins, or the Capitals.
Yeah.
That's not changing, sadly.
Mike Klinkoff chiming in. Mike, I don't know how much we can be friends anymore. They should bench him. Guy's trash. Referring to Claude Giroux.
Okay, sure.
Hold on, I have a quick question for Mikey. Are you dropping this comment on our Facebook Live from the toilet bowl? Because
he probably is.
Number 13. I can't even believe he's home already. By the way,
that's pretty impressive.
Unless he's behind the wheel, and then you make comments like that, I'm going to call local law enforcement on your ass.
We have a Penguins fan making bad comments. We have another Giroux comment from Brian Attard. I hope I said your name right. Flyers aren't going to need to win the draft lottery this year to get a high pick. It's going to be a long season. Need to move Giroux to extract the value while you can. I'll attend to that comment in a second. Mikey chimes back in with no from my couch eating pizza.
Oh, there you go.
So he did get pizza. Good for you. Now, to Brian Attard's comment, I don't think you moved Giroux. I don't think you have a reason to move Drew.
No, because, I mean, like, what would be the reason? Like, yes, there was a lack of scoring last year, but is that really Drew's fault?
It's not the lack of scoring. You have, like, about 80 centers on this team. You know, I mean, like, that's the only reason why.
I mean, that I understand, but, I mean, he's your team captain. You're bringing up a bunch of young guys this year. You want somebody with with great leadership and great experience to help mold these young kids into real NHL players. And you get rid of Giroux, and I think you're going to lose that.
You say move him as in trade. I'm thinking move him to the wing with the poll question. No, move him? No. I mean, you know, he gets a point that you want to try to sell high before a guy's value totally depreciates or whatever, but they don't need to do that. They don't need to restock. They've already restocked. It isn't a true rebuild. It's a retooling.
Well, what I think is, I'm wondering if that's coming from the fact that, you know, we did get Nolan Patrick in there, and obviously if things work out the way that they should, Nolan Patrick could be a captain. Now, if that's what he's thinking, that's a little crazy because it's way too early to ever put a C on Nolan Patrick. I know that nowadays a lot of teams like to put a C on a young guy immediately and throw him out there, especially if he's the number 1 overall draft pick, Edmonton. But that's the difference, though. Connor McDavid was Connor McDavid. You know, Austin Matthews is Austin Matthews. Those are two very different players as compared to a Nolan Patrick. Still, Nolan Patrick's good, and we should not, you know, sleep on that. But I'm just saying, there's a fine line to walk when you make a young guy a captain. You should never do that. And if it's coming from there, I disagree, if that's what you're trying to get to.
Brian comes back with, the reason is that by the time the team is ready to truly compete, Drew is going to be on the wrong side of 31, 32. Youth is the key. Get more of it, grow together into a really good team. No player is weighed down more by that C in the league than Giroux. I kind of agree with the second part of that comment. I think that C is totally weighing him down. But at the same time, I also think that if you do move Giroux, I kind of agree that now would be the time. But it's not exactly replacing that C. It's replacing that leadership that he brings to this roster.
See, that's the thing, though, because if you did do that, who would step up and take his place? You really, I mean, the only person that I could think of that would remotely try and do that would be Wayne Simmons, because you know Jake Voracek's not going to do it. So it would kind of be, that would be the only option after that would be veteran leadership-wise would be Simmons and Voracek. And again, I would say Simmons would be the guy who'd be calling people out in the locker room. You know, that would be how that would go if Giroux was moved.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, I know he's, you know, no veteran, but he's not. Now he's entering his third year. What about the idea of Shane Gostisbehere being your captain?
I mean,
he's got the intelligence.
He does have the intelligence, and that's definitely in his favor. And he's not old by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely young. You know, if you definitely had no choice and you had to put the C on a young guy, you wouldn't want to put on Patrick, even if he made the team, because he's too young. Way too young. You would put it on Gostisbehere out of all the young guys. But
well, I mean, he put the C on Sidney Crosby as soon as he came into the league, and
yeah,
he
but
was
that's 18, 19
years old.
But let's talk. That's Sidney Crosby. Again, I'll say this again. Sidney Crosby. Alex Ovechkin was Alex Ovechkin. You know, Connor
But
McDavid
even
was
Ovechkin
Connor
didn't get the C until recently.
Well, you get the point, though.
Yeah.
He was basically the captain. You know, in all fairness, he was the guy everybody was looking to.
And as good as Nolan Patrick is, he's not these guys. You know, if you're expecting
he's
these
not
guys,
a game changer.
right. You know, in order to necessitate a C right on his chest. First of all, I don't even know why we're talking about this, right? Because I get it, right? Drew's 29, right? Now, by the time these guys develop, he'll probably be 31, 32. That's not old for hockey. Right? Has he been slowing down? No. He's been isolated. He's been Bill Belichicked, so to speak, where the other team's top line center takes him out, or defensive line center takes him out. When you put more talent around him, and maybe you put him on the wing, and Patrick centers that line, or whomever you want to center that line, or whatever, now he becomes that threat that he was, you know, before when Richards was our captain, and he could just be a fucking player.
Well, I mean, you do bring up a good point, though, on that one, because a lot of times, Giroux being the superstar, as we've labeled him in Philadelphia, that does come with a price. And the price is that every team's going to be looking at him now.
Right.
Every team's going to play him differently than
Right.
they play everybody else.
Richie went down, too. He went down, too. Was he a bad captain? Did we send him out? Oh, yeah, we did. That's right.
Well, but you're not wrong, though. Richards was not a bad captain. Now, let's not just jump to a conclusion. Richards was not a bad captain. He captained the team to the 2010 Stanley Cup.
True.
I mean, well, not the Cup, but the 2010 Finals.
Yeah.
But you get my point, though. I mean,
do.
That guy was a leader, and a leader in the sense of he wasn't afraid to say what he needed to say to get the team motivated. That's the kind of guy he was. Sure, he had his off-ice antics. How many people have had off-ice antics? How many people have had off-court antics, off-field antics? Everybody does.
Me, every week.
Yeah, like seriously. How many captains have gone off and have done stupid shit in their free time? I mean, think about it. Sixers, Allen Iverson, was he an angel outside the court? No. But he led a team.
Yeah.
And that's all that mattered at the end of the day.
And you're talking about one of the beloved guys in Philadelphia right now. You don't have to be an angel off the. I mean, you got to keep your nose clean, but you don't have to be an angel either.
That's something Richie never did. Is keeping his nose clean.
That's true.
That is true, though. But still, though, he still led the team. I was just throwing that out there.
Now,
he was not a bad captain.
Barring off of what you said about maybe putting Giroux on the wing to have Nolan Patrick as your center, this leads me to my next question. Adrian Barrett is chiming in on Facebook Live. Do they start the year with Giroux at left wing, or do they move him there as a backup plan if they aren't getting the results they want?
I think it's all conditional on whether Patrick makes his team or not. I mean, if he doesn't, then obviously Giroux is your top line center, right? Now, even if Patrick doesn't make it, could you have a line where Giroux's on the wing with Vecchione, or even Coots? You've been seeing like him playing wing with Coots in this preseason a lot. Yeah, I think it's all conditional on Nolan Patrick. Nolan Patrick makes his team, then you could start the year off like that and really just, don't make the change during the season. Go right into it, the plan. And then if it doesn't result, you can go, you can not take a step back, but you can go, a guy won't forget how to play center just because he's playing wing a couple games or whatever.
Oh, no. I mean, essentially, playing forward is playing forward. It's just going back in that defensive zone is where it really
it's the only
differentiates.
difference.
Well,
Yeah.
the only thing, though, is that
Good
you
point.
don't want to change him too much, though. And the thing about that is that that's what they used to do with Danny Briere. They always had to change him from center to wing every single time because they
That's
just
true,
didn't have
a
enough
bit.
in the supply.
Yeah.
And that did affect him, I mean, did it affect him all the time? No. But if you kept consistently moving him, it did. And again, he still put on the playoff points and he still put on his show performance that he always did. But it did affect Danny B, and his performance in Philadelphia.
All right, we're going to Brian Attard, jumping back to our conversation a few minutes ago. Look at it this way. When Carter Hart is ready to be the guy, what is Giroux? What does he bring to the table at that point? The longer he stays in the orange and black, lower his value is. Time catches up quick. Look at Rick Nash as an example. My response to that is he doesn't have to be the guy who's putting up 20, 25, 30 goals a year. If he's putting up 50, I'll take 10 to 15, 40 assists, and he's molding these young guys into NHL players and being a real leader, a real captain, there's value there. He doesn't have to be putting points on the board for him to be valuable.
And that's the same. See, that's the difference between him and Rick Nash. That was the difference of the fact that when Giroux went down, the team went down. With Rick Nash, when he went to New York, it didn't matter that he wasn't putting up points because they had other guys to put up points, and their team was still that deadly. So it didn't matter. And that was before they had gotten rid of Pouliot and before they had lost Derek Brassard and the rest of them that were contributing offensively.
And I got two more comments here. One from Mikey calling Giroux a grab ass in Ottawa.
Well, this is true.
This is very true. It's documented. And then Ralph Del Vecchio from the rundown here on a2dradio.com commenting in, Nolan better be on the goddamn team. You didn't pick him at number 2 for no reason. Now, I have a little bit of a problem with that comment only because, yes, you picked him at number 2 overall, but he's no Austin Matthews. He is no Patrick Laine. He is no Sidney Crosby, no Alex Ovechkin. He's going to be a good player in this league. There's no doubt about it. But he's not that game changer. This was a draft that so I just caught a look at Tom Arnone's comment real quick, and it kind of made me chuckle. I'll read that off in a second. He's not a game changer. He's not a franchise changer. He's the future number one center in the city. Yes, but he's not a game changer.
Well, let's put it into perspective. Out of the two, the one that was most likely to be the game changer was Hershier, not him.
I'm not even saying that he is.
And even that was iffy. But that was from the scouting reports. The truth is, the scouting even said this was not a very deep draft. And,
no, it wasn't.
And that was another thing, that those were the two best players. I think there was a few more after them that were highlights. But other than that, though, it was not a deep draft. It's hard to find them. Maybe there'll be diamonds in the roughs that will eventually show up, but that will be, I would say, 5 years down the line from now when you go to the latter rounds and you start seeing people who will show up out of nowhere. But that's down the line. Right now, also, it's too early to speculate on who should be considered a starter and who shouldn't be considered a starter in a non-deep draft.
And Tom Arnone commenting in, I'm not a G guy, at least as the captain. I think he's a good leader. I think he's a good captain. I just think I think maybe you need to boot him down a line. Maybe set him up with somebody else. Because like I said before, he's not exactly a shooter. He's a passer, just like Voracek.
I'm sorry, who are you speaking of?
Giroux.
Giroux? Yeah, that is also a distinct possibility, too, where he can center the second line.
But who do you put on that first line at center, though? I mean,
well, again,
there isn't really anybody on this roster that you can do that with.
All right, well, let's just throw out for shits and giggles, what if you did put Nolan Patrick starting at first line and center, and then you put Giroux down on second line? Now, that is a silly little throw out that I'm putting out there. Would you see that happen? A hypothetical. Would you think they would do that?
Not right away. I think it depending on the production from both of these players throughout the year, I think it's more realistic further down the line, maybe January, February, depending on where they would or where
they're going to end
standings.
up. Okay, because by then you'll figure out whether you're going to make the playoffs or not.
Right away, though, no. But Tom Arnone chimes in, says that he would.
All right. With that being said, too, when Giroux first showed signs of being a good goal scorer and becoming a really legitimate player, that was started in 2010, believe it or not, during the playoff run, when Giroux started getting some clutch goals and he got the OT winner in the Stanley Cup Finals that pushed it to Game 6, or, eventually would be a Game 6. Point being is that Giroux started to build that up in 2010. In 2011, you started to see him take a little bit more of a role. By 2012, that's when you started to see he arrived. Mm-hmm. That was when you started seeing him on top line. He did not immediately start on top line, and there was good reason for that. They kind of kept him as that ace in the hole where it's just like, okay, Giroux's that young guy that has that talent. We're going to keep him sitting behind there. We're going to have people worry about Jeff Carter, Danny Briere, and Mike Richards and Scott Hartnell. We're not going to have them worry about Claude Giroux, and then Giroux can pounce.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can go that route. You can't disguise him now because he has shown himself. I don't think you can disguise him on the roster, but you can definitely put him around other players that make you spin your head and make you worry. If you can do that, then that's where Giroux can really start putting in sneaky shots and get those goals. You can't disguise him, but you can definitely make it impossible to defend him because you've got other good players surrounding him.
Right. Tommy's chiming in again. G isn't a carrier. You guys have said that yourself, so dropping him down a line, I completely agree with. I could definitely see that happening, but you got to find a replacement for him first. Until you have that guy that is going to be your solidified number one center, he's not going anywhere.
Brian,
you barely have a number one winger.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done going.
No, you're fine. I'm done now.
I just wanted to ask you. I always jump the gun 2 seconds early. Did you read William Murray's comment where he says keep Giroux, his value isn't just points? Because I think that's the best comment that I read here on the Facebook Live. is that his value is more than just points, and you
Right.
can still get that value as a captain. Your captain doesn't have to be on your number one line. I mean,
No, he
usually chances are it is, but it doesn't have to be.
No, I absolutely 100% agree. Your captain is typically your best leader on and off the ice. Not always your biggest point scorer, your biggest goal scorer, your biggest playmaker. He's typically your guy that is your best leader.
Well, think about it in Flyers history. Who's the last captain that was scoring all the time? Eric Lindros.
Right.
All the other captains after him are not necessarily goal scorers, but they're leaders.
No, right after him was Eric Desjardins. And I thought Desjardins was a great captain. He was a great leader.
Keith Primeau, along with that too.
Right.
And Keith Primeau was not a goal scorer. He was a leader. Simple as that. He had clutch goals, but that was it. That was pretty much all Keith Primeau's goal scoring. Chris Pronger was a defenseman. And then Mike Richards. Mike Richards was, for all intents and purposes, he was a dirty player. Not in the sense of he would cheat, but in the sense of he'd get to the dirty areas and he'd cause problems. That was the way Mike Richards used to score half the time, was being that pain in the ass.
Tom still chiming in. He says, sorry, I'm G-hating, my bad. But he also posed a question that I think got a little misinterpreted. He said, so he's a captain because there isn't a better one? No, he's the number one center because there's not a better one. That's essentially what I was getting at.
Because right now, center-wise, it's a very tough question to answer. Like, who would you put at top-line center besides Giroux?
Right now?
Right
to
now,
me, nobody.
Right now, the only person you could even remotely float in there with any kind of possible dignity would be a Konechny, because he's been on the team for a year. But that's it. Because after that, who do you put other than that? Because you can't put your fourth-line center up there, and connect. I mean, you could put Patrick up there, but again, I don't know. It depends on if he makes the team, for one thing, and second of all, it's too soon to predict that. And then at the same time, Nolan Patrick goes in there. Don't get me wrong. Have young guys proven that they've been able to persevere in the league? Yes. But it's a crapshoot. You can hit 7, you can hit snake eyes. You don't know what you're going to hit when you put a young guy in that spot who's never been in the NHL before.
And last thing I'll say on this is don't apologize for hating on Drew. If a guy's not performing, he should be held accountable.
Exactly.
I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm just saying don't move what could be a valuable piece of a team that could compete, maybe even as soon as this year or next year.
Jumping back to what you said about Konechny playing center, I don't think we're ever going to see Konechny play center. And Mike Robbins agrees with me.
Yeah.
In the NHL because, one, he's small.
Yeah.
And, two, because he played wing on the Phantoms. He played wing on juniors, and he played wing all of last year for the Flyers. He's going to be your number one left winger eventually some point.
Yeah.
As early as this year, I think, as long as he's producing. I think we could potentially see Konechny as your number one winger out of camp. But as far as your number one center goes, it's Giroux right now, and there's no question. There's nobody else that can play that spot at this point in time.
Again, though, we have to wait and see what happens at the end of preseason. If Patrick has made the team, then you can keep your eye on it then. Then you can say, all right, how's it going this year? Is Patrick living up to more than what his potential says, about what his potential is, or below? Depending on what he does in that range depends on whether or not Giroux could possibly be moved. And if Giroux does get moved, then clearly only real legitimate scenario I could see Giroux getting moved out of top line center getting moved.
I really think it with Giroux, if they do trade him, you can get a decent second line center and maybe another second line, third line role playing winger to go along with it.
I mean, trade-wise, too, also, if you traded Claude Giroux, I'd hate to say that it would set the team back, but it would. It could. It could set the team back because, yes, I get the fact that we still have guys like Wayne Simmons. Yes, we still have Jake Voracek, and yes, they do score. But at the end of the day, Jake is a different player than Giroux. He is not necessarily the guy in the locker room who's going to call you out. Wayne Simmons, on the other hand, yes, he could. But again, Wayne Simmons is a different kind of player than Claude Giroux is. And is that a good thing? Possibly. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. That's the thing about Wayne Simmons is you don't know what the reaction would be with him being captain or being moved up to any kind of line, of any kind. You just don't know what the reaction's going to be right there. There's a lot of question marks there.
And I think it's all about, as a captain and a leader, if you call somebody out, it's all about your approach.
Yeah.
You don't want to be considered that softy that's just going to come up and be like, hey, so, you're not playing real well. But you don't want to have that guy that's overassertive and be like, yo, dipshit.
Yeah. No,
like you want that medium. You want to find that medium, and I think Drew has that medium. But again,
well, that's the funny part is that you bring that up because Jake and Wayne are almost on the opposite ends.
I think
Jake's the type who would be more quiet about it. Wayne would be the type to call you out and call you a piece of shit for not playing well. That's the kind of personalities you got right here. Now, I'm not saying that would immediately happen, but it would happen eventually, especially if frustration set in. And if the season didn't go as well as they had planned it to, that could happen. You want someone who's got a little bit more of a level head. And, yeah, Giroux's production hasn't always been great, sadly. But he has had a level head throughout all of it. He has never had it really get to him. And sometimes he's had his burst of a temper, but it's been very minor moments. And that's only because officials called a shitty call. And that's honestly okay to get upset at an official for making a shitty call because they do all the time in the NHL.
Greg Malakovich is chiming in with, why not? Can't be much worse than he was at times last year.
I mean, the possibility of him moving to the wing, that may open up better opportunities for him. And it may also take the spotlight off of him. Yes, he's still a captain, but if somebody else is scoring more or is more of the attacking leader, that may take the spotlight off of him, and it may make you forget about the fact that Giroux's sitting right there. And if you can, like I said, you can't disguise him, you can't mask him, he's already there, but you can make it tough to defend against him because you've got other good players sitting on that line that will scare the shit out of you. Because let's be honest, with the first line, there's always been that one minor player that you weren't afraid of, like Raffle.
Well, here's
no
the
one
thing.
was afraid of Raffle. They knew he was good as a decent player, but they knew that he was not the guy who was going to light the lamp up every single night. Voracek you'd be a little bit scared of, but Raffle, no.
And I've been saying this since I actually came on the show. They're missing a goal scorer on that first line. And regardless if you move Giroux to the wing or if you keep him at center, wherever you're missing it, you need a goal-scoring threat. You need to be able to make that line dangerous. And they're a threat now, I think, but there's nobody else on that line that's going to be like, okay, we gotta really like step up our D here.
Yeah.
There's no legit scoring threat.
Yeah, and we'll talk about. I got a response for that on the other side. But first, we'll head to a break. When we come back, by the way, thank you for all the comments on Facebook. You can catch the rest of this on a2dradio.com. Please do so. And the link will be sent down into the comments if you want to continue watching us there. And we also have YouTube as well if you want to go onto the chat there. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on a2dradio.com, brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals, located 2154 East Cambridge Street in Philadelphia, PA. Give them a call, 267-314-7368. Visit them on the web at www.libertyeventrentals.com. Tables, chairs, tents, linens, anything for your party or event needs. Halloween is right around the corner, and you probably want to have a party that night. This is the Hockey Happy Hour. We will be right back right after this.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, a2dradio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening and watching the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. I'm Matt Sensuti. This is Brian the Darkwing Daily. We got Rob the Broken One Povia behind the board, as well as hosting along with us. And we were talking about the Philadelphia Flyers before, and we're going to continue talking about the Flyers with the, I guess what we call it, the G crisis.
The G crisis.
I think that's the best way to describe it. And all this is brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. They are your certified public accountants, and they are located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You can give them a call, 215-369-3300. And if tax season did pass by, but it will come back because there are some guarantees in life, and taxes are one of them. So be ready, be prepared, get Gibson Mayer.
So, As we signed off of Facebook Live, we had a couple more comments come in, and I actually just read this comment. And this guy, Mike Robbins, thinks like I do. He writes, Giroux is really good at faceoffs and still drives play. Nobody else on the team that can take the first line center right now. Points aren't everything. Yes, it is concerning his numbers are down, but Giroux is still a very productive player. Give him another weapon on the wing, like you guys said, and it'll help. Wholeheartedly agree with that, 100%. And then we had Greg Malakovich comment in. Not saying that G was bad last year, but he went into stretches where it was hard to find him on the ice outside of the faceoffs.
And that's true. I mean, no doubt about it. You know, numbers were down, and I can understand concerns in there. But again, though, there is a point to be made here that Giroux has had to play with only Jake Voracek for the better part of 3 years now. And no offense to Michael Raffl is not a top-line player. And the only reason he's on the top line is because we had nobody else to put up there. Now, the response to that is that this year there may be a solution to that problem. Instead of Giroux moving to the wing, Konechny comes up and is your first top-line winger. And you have Jake Voracek along with it. And then you have Claude Giroux sitting right there on the top line. You have Konechny, Giroux, Voracek. Right there, you start having more production right there. There are 3 options. There's 2 for Giroux now. And remember what I said about you can't mask him, you can't disguise him. He's now exposed, but you can easily make it hard to defend. Because now you've got Konechny on one side, you got Voracek on the other. And Giroux can pass it to either one of them. Pick your poison. Who do you want to defend against? And either way, very good chance that guy can score.
Well, here's the thing. I'm looking at the stats. I brought up the stats from last year. People say, oh, yeah, Jake Voracek is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Jake Voracek had 61 points last year, 20 goals, 41 assists. So he still has a lot of production. Claude Giroux, yeah, his goals were down, 14. But he still put up 44 assists. He was just under 60 points with 58. Now, if you put a guy like Konechny on there who is a natural scoring winger, I see those numbers going up. Because not only that, you're going to take the pressure off of him a little bit more to take more shots. And he can maybe pass the puck more. Voracek, you take a little bit of pressure off of him.
And not only that, too, think about special teams abilities. What if you put that line out there on a special team, on power play? Right there, you could automatically have a Konechny swerve right in, score a beautiful goal that Giroux or Voracek set up for him.
Even Goss to spare.
Even Goss to spare if he's sitting on the D. You know, it's just, I don't think trading Giroux is the right answer to the problem. You know, I think that's a knee-jerk reaction to numbers going down from last year and a lack of offensive production. But again, knee-jerk reactions are not the right kind of reactions. There's been way too many of them in Flyers history, and it has cost us dearly.
Let me throw this out there. Rob, if you know the number off the top of your head, please. How many games has Claude Giroux missed in his career? That number can't be high.
Like almost 0, pretty much.
I'll look it up in a second, but
I would say maybe
very minimal, under 5.
Yeah, like
due to injury?
That's pushing it,
Right.
I think.
I would probably say closer to 15, 20. The guy is durable.
He is.
He doesn't miss games. He played all 82 last year. Same with Jake. He's a durable player. You can't find players like that much anymore.
Yeah, true.
Even Provy. Provy played all 82 last year.
Yeah, and Provy's showing his durability, too, on the defensive side. Now, here's – we actually did get a comment in on the YouTube chat, and it's one of your best buddies, Mr. Brian Daly.
David Raska?
David Raska. Now, it isn't
what's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Dave? Now, it isn't a hockey thing. It's actually wrestling, so we'll just take a quick minute. He's saying that Enzona Amore got his ass kicked by Strowman in the Cruiserweight division. And you are correct, sir. But that is pro wrestling out there for anyone who is a wrestling fan. With that being said, though, Claude Giroux on this team should not, again, knee-jerk reaction. No need for a knee-jerk reaction. And I get why some people are saying he does have value now in trade. Yes, he does. But again, so does a lot of people in the NHL. I mean, so does TJ Oshie. You don't see Washington about ready to trade him. Even though
They just signed him to an 8-year deal.
Even though what the hell did TJ Oshie really do for Washington last year? About zero. Because at the end of the day, that team still didn't get their name put on the Stanley Cup. Now, did they? It just
personally, the idea of trading Giroux at this moment, when the kid is in the middle of his prime, despite his numbers, is blasphemous in my opinion.
Absolutely. Just to readdress real quick, Adrian Barrett's question, right? Because I think I got that question wrong, right? I think you do absolutely start him as a center because now he's going to have different pieces around him. Evaluate then, and then he has the versatility to play the wing by all this experience that he's getting during camp. To answer your question, Brian, since the 2012-2013 season, Claude Giroux's missed 5 games. He played the full 48 in the strike-shortened season, played 82 in 13-14, played 81 in 14-15, played 78, so he missed 4 games in the 15-16. I think he had a brief minor ailment there, and like you said, played 82. All total in his Flyers career since he's been a full-time player, the answer is 10. He missed 5 games in the 2011-12 season.
You want to trade that away? I mean, that's durability there. You can't. It's hard to find players that can stay healthy consistently. Claude's one of them. You keep your leader on the ice. It's a phenomenal thing to have. Because not every player is like that. I mean, maybe you can make an argument if he was having these numbers and he was hurt all the time. But he's not. He's healthy. He doesn't have the best players around him.
I mean, you don't see Tampa Bay planning on trading Steven Stamkos, even though all he does is get hurt.
All Stamkos does is get hurt. But when he's on the ice, he produces.
But you get my point, though.
I absolutely get your point.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm not saying Giroux and Stamkos, I don't know that's a comparative. But still, point is, though, is that relatively overall, though, besides the durability factor alone, is that Giroux still has talent. And I think people are just, again, I'll say this, I'm sounding like a broken record here. It's knee-jerk reaction. Like, no knee-jerk reaction. Is he a captain? He should be a captain. And keyword is should be because of what happened in 2012. He did earn that spot. Has he always led to results? No. And I'll be the first one to say that. No, he's not led to results. Has he been able to carry the team? Unfortunately, over the last couple seasons, no. It's been other people who's had to carry the team, mostly goaltending that's carried the team. And that's weird to say, even though we've had like 50 different goalies in the past 5 years. But
by the way, real quick, watch the Winnipeg preseason game last night. Mason looked pretty good. Continue.
I mean, that's, again, Steve Mason, I don't think, for anybody out there who said Mason needed to go because he was trash, you are trash for thinking that, because Steve Mason, without him, we would not have been in the playoffs twice. But anyway, with that all being said, I just don't like the idea of the knee-jerk reaction, which I feel like a lot of Philadelphia fans like to do. They like to immediately do the knee-jerk reaction. When they put the blame game out, it's just like, okay, trade him. Like, no. Don't trade him immediately because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Yes, could he fail? He could fail. And if he fails, then that's a mistake. But good chances are he won't because we know what kind of player Giroux is.
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people expect your captain to be the guy that comes out and puts up 30 goals. Because look at a lot of the captains now. Crosby's a 100-point player. Connor McDavid's a 100-point player. That's what they expect to see from these guys that are captains. Here's the thing, and I said this earlier in the show. Putting points in, being productive and putting points on the board doesn't make you a good captain. It's being a leader on and off the ice, on top of, molding these young players, on top of, putting points up. But, just because his numbers dip doesn't mean that he's done.
Yeah, definitely. We got Zach Burr, one of A2D's own. chiming in here on the YouTube chat. He says, hey, boys, down here in Lakeland, Florida, Lightning are pretty popular. Just saw a guy with a bumper sticker that read, real women love hockey, smart women love the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Ah, nice.
And then, of course, he said your thoughts. I was like, oh, I need to go down to Tampa. But that's my thoughts on that one.
Love the bumper sticker because I totally agree. To me, there's nothing better than a woman that loves the sport of hockey.
Yeah.
Smart women love Anaheim Ducks. Just saying.
One man's perspective, as everything is in life, right?
That's exactly what it is.
But, Zach, that's cool. Keep it coming in, man. That's actually interesting to see that from the Tampa Bay Lightning side of it. You know, you wouldn't think much of Tampa, and Rob's putting a picture of a lovely wait a minute.
Margot
That's
Robbie.
Is that
Margot
Margot
Robbie.
Robbie? Yeah, that is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie in a Rangers jersey.
Little meme I have on my. Yeah, I don't like the jersey, but I do like the meme, and it's titled underneath it when she likes hockey.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Margot Robbie is so hot. Let's just throw that out there, folks. I mean, I'm just going to say this right now. Margot Robbie, she loves the band Slipknot, so that means she likes heavy metal. Second of all, she plays a really awesome Harley Quinn. Third of all, she likes hockey. Like, okay.
You're missing the most important part.
She's hot.
You know what makes her even hotter? She's Australian.
Ah, the accent. That is right, the accent. That's true. That's very
I do
true.
like those Australian broads. I'm even a fan of Emma, just because she's from Australia. Smoke show.
Hashtag give Emma to Rob.
Yeah,
All
If
right.
you take Emma, I'll take Margot.
I'm good.
All right.
That's perfect.
All right, I'll take it.
All right. So besides you guys down under, with all that being said, though, with Claude Giroux being in the position he is, again, knee-jerk reaction, no need for it. We have had plenty of them in Philadelphia. It's about time we start cutting those out because that's another problem we have with fans. They like to see us make big moves or try to get rid of people if they have one bad season. Like, relax.
That's Philly, though. That's a Philly thing. That's every sport.
And that's the thing that needs to be cut out. It just entirely. Knee-jerk reactions, not just in hockey, but in football, basketball, baseball, get rid of them. Because if you're not, you know how the Sixers always say trust the process? You know there's a reason why they say it, right?
You got to trust the process.
You got to. Like, seriously.
Calm the F down and trust the process.
Yeah.
I will say it's not just Philadelphia, though. It's really, and I'm sticking up for Philadelphia over here, big surprise, that it's really any major metropolitan area. As I'm a fan of some New York teams. New York fans are just as bad, in
I'm
terms
sure.
of knee-jerk reactions. Chicago, just as bad. Los Angeles, just as no, actually, Los Angeles is probably the worst. But because they're knee-jerk and they don't know what the hell they're talking about when they're
so
knee-jerk.
fraudulent.
At least the city knows what they're talking about. They know they're familiarized with sports.
They are so fraudulent out in L.A. Let me tell you something. Watching the Anaheim Ducks, especially when they're playing in the Staples Center, a few years ago, that place was empty. Nobody would go to that game. And all of a sudden, they start winning a few hockey games, and all these celebrities are apparent fans now.
Yeah.
And all these other people are apparent fans now. Like, what? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get off the bandwagon.
That's
Shut
the,
up.
that's,
Shut
the,
up.
that's the beauty of a legitimate fan base, though. We can always tell the fraud ones from a mile away.
You ready?
It's hilarious.
This is exactly why they put the Kings in L.A. They're all actors.
Ah, I see.
They all act
I
like
see.
they're real fans,
Uh-huh.
but they're not.
Do-do.
Do they act on the ice too?
It's Dustin Brown. I
Yeah.
think he's the biggest actor of them all.
Yeah,
Well, they act
exactly.
like two-time Stanley Cup champions. However, their last season did not show that whatsoever. Well, that's a different
Hate
story.
that guy. Dustin Brown, biggest piece of shit in the NHL
I will
right now.
agree with you, though, because of one play and one
Oh,
play
I know
only.
what play you're talking about.
The knee to knee, yeah.
knee to knee
that
in
that was a
Phoenix.
piece of shit move by Dustin Brown. Absolutely piece of shit move for a team you had beat. That was disgusting. But anyway, so getting away from the G crisis, we now move into the Flyers continuing their preseason trek tonight. They face off with the New York Rangers in their second straight contest.
The G crisis.
I think I should call it that for the rest of the season, especially if Nolan Patrick winds up making this team. The preseason keeps going forward, and the New York Rangers, a two-bout matchup that we have here. It's time for round 2 of this preseason bout. This time in Philadelphia, so it is actually going to be broadcasted on CSN Philly. So for all the Flyers fans out there who are on Facebook saying, hey, is the game being streamed online tonight because I can't find it on TV? Do not worry. CSN Philly has you covered.
CSN Philly and the NHL Network have it,
If
as
you
well
are
as
out of-
MSG.
If you are out of market, and MSG, of course, if you are a New York Rangers fan. Now, the rosters have been announced for the Philadelphia Flyers, and let's take a look at this one. Our forwards for tonight's matchup are Travis Konechny, Michael Raffl, Sean Couturier, Scott Lawton, Dale Weiss, Claude Giroux, Jordan Wheel, Mikhail Vorobayev, Oscar Lindblom, Taylor Lair, Nolan Patrick, Mike Vecchione, and Jake Voracek. Those are your forwards for the evening. And that should be the starting roster for the most part.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, this is the starting roster for the most part.
Moving on to the defensemen. Brandon Manning, Andrew McDonald. Yeah, Andrew McDonald. God, I hate saying that.
Listen, I understand you hate saying that, but at the same time, man, you got to – he makes too much money to just be a healthy scratch.
Got to bite down and take it, right? Like you're in prison. Robert Hogg, Sam Moran, Shane Gostisbehere, and Travis Sanheim. They are your defensive prospects or defensive players for the evening. Andrew McDonald is nowhere near a prospect. And moving on, 2 goaltenders, Michael Neuwirth and Brian Elliott, who shall be the starter. And, of course, Brian brought up the fact that Brian Elliott is not wearing the number 1. Actually, it's because Mr. Bernie Parent, who had his jersey retired,
I don't know why I thought he was going to wear number 1. I mean, obviously I know why. He's been wearing number 1 his entire career. But, I completely forgot that number was retired. Sitting there before the show, and I'm like, wait, why is he wearing number 37? It's a weird number for him. And I'm like, oh.
That's an odd number, though. Why didn't he just pick number 2? Like, seriously.
That's retired, too. Mark Howe, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mark Howell, too. That's recent. So, okay, so number 3. There's no one who held number 3 that was famous. So
Can't do number 4. I mean, Barry Ashby's.
No, you can't do number 4 either because of Barry Ashby. Wow, a lot of the single digits are really off the table for the Flyers. That's actually very interesting. More single digits than I think any team in the NHL.
I know Anaheim has 1. Hopefully it'll be 2 by.
But seriously though, think about it. I can't really think of any other NHL team that has as many single digits retired. Maybe Montreal, and that's pushing it because I think most of theirs are double digits.
I'll have to look that up.
I mean, I definitely know for a fact Montreal has like at least 3 or 4 single digits, I think, that are retired.
Which I actually glad you brought that up because I saw this. Apparently they made a scoring change in Montreal history. Apparently we can tack on 1 more assist to Maurice Richard's point total.
Really?
After all this time?
After all this time, they finally made that change.
Wow. Took the NHL how long to do that?
Well, I believe they said the game was in 1949.
Well, okay, but still they have the stats, don't they? Like, come on. Like,
hey, man, there's just 1 more point for the Rocket.
That's true.
Oops, math was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
math
he did
failed us again.
Math has failed.
Math
doesn't apply though with the Montreal Canadiens. Math doesn't exist to them. They set math. They made math.
I forgot math.
They also invented breathing too. Apparently.
I thought you said meth for a second. Math, right?
No. That's Phoenix Coyotes fans. Yeah. But anyway, that's a different story.
Albuquerque.
Wait, I thought that was the Kings. I thought that's
Yeah.
Oh no, actually,
Mike Richards and Jordan Stahl supplied the city. That's why they had fans.
We're all incorrect. That's New Jersey Devils fans who live in Jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
They're the ones who make meth. They're the ones.
No, that's crack.
That's crack. Okay, crack. All right, there is a difference. All right, that's true. There is a difference. But anyway.
Envelope pushed.
With that being said, speaking of envelopes being pushed, those Florida...
Josh Frank is never going to listen to our show anymore.
Maybe he's a meth head. We don't know. Maybe he is.
Oh, wow.
Come on. I said that's a
right
maybe. There. That's a maybe. I never said yes. I said maybe. I'm trying to be...
Nice knowing you, Josh.
I'm trying to include all people in all parts of life. That includes, those in the meth community.
I wouldn't really worry about it. I haven't seen a comment from Josh in quite a while. He might have fallen off. He's like, they're too flyered for me.
Tired of them making fun of my Devils.
It's like, oh, come on. It's a Flyer show. The Devils are not loved here. What did you expect?
It was a slow off season.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. But that being said, David Raska once again chiming in. Thanks, David. Keep it coming. He says, how about the Florida Panthers? They need to show up this year, as if they did every year, because the Florida Panthers don't show up at all.
And they will
Florida
not be this
Panthers
year.
lost some talent in the expansion draft. They're going to be a struggling team this year.
Yeah, to say the least.
Riley Smith, they lost. Brad Marchessault, they lost.
Who do you think he'll be the lead goal scorer for the Las Vegas Golden Knights this year?
Marchessault? No, I think that's going to be James Neal.
Yeah, you know, I come think it probably will be James Neal.
They're having a pretty impressive preseason. I'm not going to lie. And I realize it's only preseason, but
I mean, it's a lot
they just beat Anaheim. What was it, 6-2 the other night?
I mean, it's a lot of their prospects too. Not even really a lot of their starters, which I think is going to bring in a bit of false sense of security for any Las Vegas fans. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, Florida's fucked. They are so fucked. Back to the draft board for them. Oh.
High draft pick for them this year. They'll be in the lottery for sure.
They still get to dream about the year of the rat because that's the closest they'll still be to the Stanley Cup with 0 wins to their Stanley Cup history.
Yep.
Doesn't that feel good to get to pick on another team that has never won a Stanley Cup? It feels good. I like picking on teams that haven't won a Stanley Cup. It makes me feel better.
Depends on the organization. Depends on if they have any players I like.
Well,
Florida got rid of one of the players that I liked, and so I'm okay with.
So you're okay with picking on them? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about Washington?
I have a couple good friends that are Capitals fans.
So
I can't pick on them too
much.
much.
Oh, come on! You can have good friends and pick on their teams.
All the more reason.
I can't.
Just because
I'm with you.
Just
I
because
can't.
Just because we love Mikey doesn't mean we can't pick on the Penguins. Like seriously, we love picking on the Penguins.
Well, they're a division rival.
Okay, but
I was close. David Rossi chimed in 4-2 Vegas over Anaheim. I was close. I knew Anaheim scored 2. But even still.
Well, still,
I
though.
can't do it. I can't.
Oh, come
I
on.
can't.
All right, so you mean to tell me if you had a good friend who was a Los Angeles Kings fan, you would not pick on him?
Oh, I would rip into him.
Okay.
They're a division rival.
Oh, all right. So it's division rival is your standard.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, a man's got to have a code. So I'll give him that one. Man's got to have his limits. So, with that line officially being drawn in the sand, I think it's time we get back to this preseason evaluation here. So the Flyers going into this game against the New York Rangers tonight. I will take a gander here at the New York Rangers roster, but the Flyers yesterday did take a loss in New York. However, it was in overtime, so they were even down the stretch. And Travis Sanheim bolted one right by Henrik Lundqvist. I was like, jeez. Now, I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe that's just a sign of Sanheim being really good, or maybe that's a sign of Lundqvist just being old.
I think actually it's a mixture of both. Because like I said earlier in the show, Sanheim has he's roster or bust
pretty
this
much
year. He's ready. He shows he's showing he's ready. Flyers drafted him for a reason. Big physical presence, nice disciplined player. Hell of a slap shot from the point.
Absolutely.
And he showed that yesterday.
Yeah, he did. I love it. I love it. He's already scored 3 goals. It's not even the season yet. This is awesome. I can't wait for it.
He's great defensive player, very good offensive upside.
Who's this kid on the Rangers? Philip Chytil? Chytil?
I think it's Chytil. I think
Chytil?
that's how you would pronounce it.
Well, however you pronounce it, their 21st overall pick has been playing pretty good hockey this preseason. He leads with 3 points, a goal, and 2 assists so far in 3 games.
Interesting. Now, looking at the Rangers roster here, they put them down as skaters and then goaltenders. They didn't separate forwards and defense. Wow. Way to buck the system. Anyway.
That's Rangers for you.
For the skaters, we have JT Miller, Kevin Hayes, Bobby Farnham, Boo Nevs. That's a cool name, actually. I like that.
Boone's Farm?
Hold on, though. I got to ask, who names their kid Boo? By the way,
probably a nickname.
It has to be because it's B-O-O, so it's actually like Boo, like the ghost. So who names their kid that? Jimmy Vesey, Paul Carey, Michael Grabner, Brendan Smith, Neil Pionk, actually, Stephen Kampfer, David Desharnais, Gabrielle Fontaine, Ryan Graves, Philip Chytil, Brady Skij. I believe that's what would be the Skij. I think that's how you're going to say that. Tony D'Angelo, Pavel Buchanevic, and Vinny Lettieri. And then 2 goaltenders, Andre Pavlik and Brandon Halverson. Now, do they have who the starter will be? No, does not look like they do.
Who's the goaltenders they have?
The goaltenders are Andre Pavlik, formerly of the Winnipeg Jets, and Brandon Halverson.
Probably Pavlik.
Possibly, because Lundqvist played yesterday, so if Pavlik's going to be their backup, then yeah, they'll probably, which he probably will be, so he'll probably start. So, that is the roster for the New York Rangers, which the Flyers will be up against tonight. And this should be an interesting matchup. The Rangers looking like they put a hell of a lot of their prospects out. Really going to take a quick look. But then again, this is their last game of their preseason, so I could see why they're putting them out. They just want to take a last-minute look at some of their guys.
I kind of like this roster for the Rangers. I think it would have been better if they brought in a guy like Shane Doan, but due to his retirement, they couldn't do that. But
He may not have retired if they signed him, though. He pretty much retired because nobody was biting.
well, actually, he had 5 contract offers.
Oh, did
when
he?
retired.
My fault.
Yeah, he had 5 contract offers. The Rangers were one of them.
Well, they put out the Auburn then.
Well, maybe he just didn't want to be on the Rangers.
I don't remember who the other teams were, but, I mean, for a guy to be his age and he wants to win a cup, I think the Rangers would have been a good fit for him.
I mean, either way, though, I mean, Shane Doan, maybe he honestly didn't feel like he could play.
I don't think he just. I just think he was done.
Yeah, maybe he honestly he was
Phoenix or bust, or Arizona or bust.
He was finished, like maybe he was done too, just as a player. Just like I just don't want to play anymore, like not the sense of like I don't want to play anymore, like more of like I just can't play anymore. I can't keep up. That happens. Age catches up every once in a blue moon.
It does. Oh, it absolutely does.
But so tonight's matchup, Flyers versus the New York Rangers. With the rosters being said, do you think the Flyers win this preseason matchup? A lot of prospects out for the Rangers. We have a few more starters out for the Flyers than the Rangers do. Would you say the Flyers walk away with a win in this preseason matchup?
I want to say yes. But it really doesn't matter. To me, it really doesn't matter. What I want to see from this game, and I have every intention of watching it tonight, is I just want to see line chemistry created, especially with the roster that the Flyers are putting out tonight. I want to see the defense stand tall. I want to see Brian Elliott stand tall. My biggest thing is, depending on who's going to be on that first line with Drew and Voracek tonight, I want to see some more shooting from basically all 3 of them. I want to see the line chemistry come together.
I actually want to see if they want to put Konechny up there with Giroux and Voracek. If they do that, that would be really interesting to see. See if maybe that has a future going into this season.
I think so. I would. That's my biggest. That's my best idea for the first line is throwing Konechny up there with those 2.
It makes sense. I mean, there's nobody else you could think of that would go up there. Really, honestly, who else would you put up there?
No, I mean, unfortunately, he missed some time last year with an injury. TK did, but
but
he's got talent.
He's still, just a small injury. It wasn't anything serious.
No, you caused him to miss 10 games. 20 games?
That's not too bad. I mean, if it caused you to miss
10 games.
Yeah, I mean that's like the cutoff line. If you start missing 15 games, 20 games, then that was a serious injury. But Rob, what do you expect to see tonight?
A bloodbath. No.
October already.
I expect that the Flyers will carry the pace of the game. Being that, as you pointed out, a lot more regulars on the Flyers squad opposed to a lot of prospects on the Rangers side. I expect the Rangers to really highlight their speed, and with that, I think it's going to be a close contest. I think it's going to be a 3-2 game Flyers way. Just because of I'll give them the edge because of the experience on the ice. But Rangers are already a pretty quick team, at least on the forwards, and they've increased their speed on the defensemen. Well, we'll really be able to see that in play with their younger players on the ice.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little upset that Shattenkirk isn't playing tonight. I would like to see him in a Rangers uniform to see how he fits in with that system.
Hopefully he doesn't, because that way the Rangers can, not have as good of a defense. But that's just me.
But I also, one of the things that kind of irked me about this team last year was their transition game. And I think if the Flyers, I want to see how they transition tonight too.
Actually, that's a habitual
breakout.
That's a habitual problem with a lot of Alain Vigneault's teams. Actually, the Vancouver Canucks were guilty of it too.
I'm sure.
So, but anyway, we'll head to a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about what's going on around the league. We'll also dive into the scores from yesterday. And we will see what is up on the horizon for the Flyers for the rest of this preseason. That is on the other side. But first, I want to talk to you about the Soap Stash, the new soap standard. You can give them a call at 844-890-3197. You can visit them on the web at www.soapstash.com. And you can message them on Facebook at Soapstash LLC. That's how they would prefer you to order. You can send a message out to them, and they can send it out to you. And you can treat the skin with the only soap you'll need. They got the best nutrients with the highest grade carrier oils that are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural.
Oh, natural.
This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. We'll be right back with more Flyers and hockey action right after this.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sisuti, along with Brian the Dark Wing Daly and Rob the Broken One Povia behind the board, along with hosting with us, bringing all that awesome action from the production side. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, brought to you by the Sports Outlet. They are for all your sporting needs, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. You give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. So, diving into our preseason analysis, we were going into the New York Rangers game tonight. Rob had a Flyers victory in 3-2, and Brian had a what again?
I think I'm going to go with. A loss. I think the Flyers will lose this one by the same score, 3-2.
Okay, I will say a 3-2 win, just to levy it all out. Now moving on. Take a look here at the rest of the preseason schedule for the Philadelphia Flyers as they get ready to pretty much end their preseason. Now, the New York Rangers, this is their last preseason game for the year. As for the Flyers have 3 more games coming up. That's including tonight's matchup. Tonight's matchup is one of a 3-game homestand. They face the Rangers tonight. Then they face Boston at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And then the final game of the preseason is at 5 o'clock on Sunday, the first day of October, against the New York Islanders to close out their preseason. And then on Tuesday and Monday, Monday and Tuesday, they travel out to the West Coast to meet the San Jose Sharks, then the Los Angeles Kings, and then your Anaheim Ducks. To finish it up, they'll take a little stop at Nashville, and then finally they'll have their official home opener for the season on the 14th of October against the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. One more week, almost exactly, till we have hockey again in our lives.
Absolutely. Now, with that being said, I know that we have David Roscoe who's been watching and chiming in, and you yourself being a Ducks fan. What would you analyze as your overall for the Anaheim Ducks preseason?
Painful.
Painful?
Painful.
First time I think of anyone's ever said painful in the preseason, all rolled up into one.
Well, the thing is, their Ducks are spending a lot of time playing a lot of youngsters just to kind of evaluate what they have. Obviously, we know, when Kessler gets healthy again, he'll be on the team. Getzlaf, Silverberg, all those guys. The usual suspects are going to be in their place. We're just trying to find those other youngsters that are going to fill in.
So you're trying to fill out your third and fourth for the season, or
more trying to find that guy that's going to not replace, but take Kessler's spot until he comes back.
Okay, gotcha.
Vatanen or Lindholm, all those guys are going to be out for a little while.
Is there any candidates right now?
There's a couple. Sam Steele is one who I'm actually expecting to make the roster out of camp. I'm expecting Max Jones to be a guy who's going to fill in for a little while. I expect even maybe Jacob Larson on defense.
All right. So, a little bit of an Anaheim Ducks look in there from the Darkwing himself. And now we dive right on in here to the scores from yesterday. Even though it is preseason, might as well take a look around the league. The Devils thrashed the Ottawa Senators 8-1 in their matchup. The Bruins defeated the Blackhawks 4-2. That's odd to have a Western Conference, Eastern Conference, preseason matchup. That's interesting. Very rarely do you see that. Yeah, that's
wow.
odd. That's very, very odd. Anyway.
It's usually mainly interdivisional. But
Usually, yeah. Now, the Devils and the Islanders met as well, and the Islanders actually defeated the Devils. Obviously, that's a split squad matchup for the New Jersey Devils. The Flyers, of course, fell to the New York Rangers 3-2 in overtime. The Maple Leafs thrashed the Canadiens 5-1 in their matchup. The Red Wings defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-1, which actually is pretty good for the Red Wings, because the Red Wings are a team that's basically going to need to rebuild. So for them to look like their prospects are making some waves, that's good news for them.
So just real quick, and I don't mean to interrupt, but this is kind of like it's bugging me for some reason. So I'm looking at the stats from last night's or the other night's Anaheim Ducks game where they beat the Arizona Coyotes 6-4. Goal scorers are Nick Ritchie, who had 2, Brandon Montour, Ricard Raquel, Dennis Rasmussen, and Logan Shaw. Well, apparently, Nick Ritchie had all 32 shots for the Anaheim Ducks, but yet 5 other players scored.
Wait a minute, what?
I guess the statisticians are.
Was that okay? Well, hold on. Where was this?
Preseason too.
Well, hold on. Where was
I think it was in Anaheim.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's weird.
But that's weird. Like they even did it on the Coyote side too.
What?
Brandon Perlini scored a goal, but apparently he took all 25 shots.
So clearly, the statisticians, they obviously throw out their stats at the end of every game in preseason. I don't understand.
They're in preseason too. I probably shouldn't give them such a hard time.
I guess so, but
I just thought it was weird. That's all.
Are you going to do your job competently for the beginning of the season? That's the only question I have, because a lot of times I question stat keepers. Sometimes, sometimes you have to. They don't always award goals to the right guy, even though the replay is right in front of them.
Not sometimes.
Most times.
All the time, yeah.
I was going to give them the slight benefit.
All right, maybe most times.
Most times.
I like to stir the pot.
I mean, to be fair though, stats are not necessarily everything in hockey, like in, say, baseball, where that is literally everything. Unless you play fantasy, then they are everything. But that's a different story.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Yes, Rob Povey also moonlights as the host of Fantasy Dominance now.
Oh, you were just. I thought you were putting down baseball. That's all. But it's all good.
No, that's why I thought you were offended, because you're the fantasy guy. So when I put down stats, I'm putting down fantasy.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Moving on to next matchup, the Winnipeg Jets defeated the Calgary Flames 5-2. The Avalanche defeated the Dallas Stars 4-2, and the Carolina Hurricanes defeated the Edmonton Oilers 6-2 in their matchup. So clearly, all the prospects that the Oilers have are already on the team. So no need to worry about where they're going to end up. So those are yesterday's scores, and with that being said, gentlemen, you want to do hockey history?
We could do that. I definitely want to go back to the Flyers before we wrap
Sure.
up, though. But, yeah, let's do hockey history.
All right, we'll do hockey history, and then we'll run right back into Flyers hockey. And let me see where it was.
Real quick,
What's
David
here?
Roskas chiming in. My Ducks won last night over Arizona Yotes 6-4. Sir David, our Ducks.
Yeah, I was going to say, right?
Our Ducks, my friend.
It's all right. It's all right. Had a moment, a lapse of judgment. It's okay. Happens. Happens all the time. For me, it does. I don't know. But that's just me.
Hey, us Ducks fans, we stick together.
I'm sure Flyers fans stick together. I'm sure most fan bases stick together, right? What fan base does, maybe Devils fans. But that's a different story. And anyway, moving on to this day in hockey history for September 26th. We go here to the... On this day, Paul Henderson scored the tie-breaking goal with 2:06 remaining in the third period to give Canada a 4-3 victory against the Soviet Union in Game 7 of the Summit Series. Playing before a full house in Moscow, each team scored twice in the first period. Robert Gilbert put Canada ahead 3-2 at 2:13 of the third, but Alexander Yakushev tied the game with a power play goal at 5:15. With time running down, defenseman Serge Savard passed over to Henderson in alone on two Soviet defensemen, and he deked and slid the puck through defenseman Yevgeny Zagankov's legs and went around goaltender Vladislav Tretiak to put Canada ahead to stay. And eventually, Canada won the Summit Series.
Oh, wow.
So, it's pretty good, though, when you think about it. That's awesome. in
That
my
is, I
opinion.
kind of like that, actually.
You like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
You like that? All right, cool.
You like that?
Moving on to more other moments. In 1925, the New York Americans, an expansion team scheduled to start play for the 1925-26 season, had to buy the roster of the Hamilton Tigers for $75,000. The move came not too long after the Tigers dropped out of the NHL for financial reasons. I don't think that's... Has you ever heard of that? A team buying a team's roster because they didn't have a roster to begin the season? That is interesting. Like, that's a weird time in the 1920s when things were still a little disorganized in the NHL. Of course, there was only,
That is interesting,
there was
actually.
only, 8 teams, though? So, I mean, there wasn't even that many teams in the NHL.
Ooh, here's a good one. This day in hockey history, I'm actually coming up with one. I know. This
Cool.
is rare, right? In 1937, the NHL adopts the icing rule.
Interesting. That's cool. So before that, there was no icing. Well, that puts a lot of things in perspective back then.
Now, of course, it's been modified. In 2005, they did the rule to prevent a team that has iced the puck from changing the players, where they'd have to keep them on the ice. Hybrid icing was introduced in 13-14. So yeah, but it was pretty steadfast up until from talking 1937 to 2005.
Jesus.
Well, what would be your opinion, too, on the hybrid icing? Do you like it? Do you dislike it?
Oh, I love it, and this is why. I mean, checks are exciting. When they're racing for the puck, there's always going to be like a freight train hitting it. It's exciting for the fans, but one thing it's not exciting for is NHL owners, and there's a lot of injuries that came from them chasing the puck down, getting that icing. So the hybrid is just going to be great for the league as a whole because you don't see superstars get taken out. Injuries are going to happen, but if you can prevent them, it's a good move.
No,
Nice.
absolutely. You always, when you have a star player that, he's your franchise player, you think he's going to be the one that leads you to the promised land and raising Lord Stanley over your head. You want to do everything you can to prevent that.
Of course.
Ooh, here's another one, but go on.
Oh, I was going to say, with modifications, 1926, the NHL decided that the blue lines will be measured 60 feet from each goal line, and rather than 20 feet from the center of the rink. So the decision was to widen the neutral zone to decrease the number of offside calls. So, okay, so just picture that. Just how small the rink was back then. Good
Sure.
God. We think the rink is small now compared to the European ones.
No
But
doubt.
anyway.
No doubt. On this day in hockey history in 1990, left winger Bill Barber is inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Flyers' own Billy Barber.
Yeah, he's inducted after scoring 420 goals in 12 seasons and playing on 2 Stanley Cup winning teams with the Flyers, obviously. I'll never forget how many goals Bill Barber's had.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite numbers.
And Bill Barber actually, he leads the Flyers in scoring. So,
And just to show we're an equal opportunity show, also on this date in hockey history, 1992, Scott Stevens is named the 5th captain of the New Jersey Devils.
Matty's not too happy with that one.
no.
I think you
Not
should have
really.
kept that one to yourself.
I was right. I was in a good mood, and then you brought up Scott Stevens, of course.
It's
But-
actually kind of ironic that you brought that up, and I'll explain that to you guys after the show.
All right, then. Well, 1988, the New York Rangers signed Guy Lafleur for all the Boston Bruins fans out there. You could be happy with this one. Less than 3 weeks after the longtime Montreal Canadiens star was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and 6 days after he turned 37, Lafleur had been retired since early 1984 and 85 season. He joined Gordie Howe as the only player in NHL history to skate in a regular season game after being admitted into the Hall. And Lafleur finished with 45 points in 67 games, 18 goals and 27 assists. And he played 2 more seasons with the Quebec Nordiques before retiring for good.
Oh, wow.
So, Gordie Howe will always be the ageless one, but Guy Lafleur is another one of those who's the ageless one too. He's the French Canadian ageless one. Gordie Howe was the English Canadian ageless one. We'll go with that one.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And then final one for me. 1995, the Boston Bruins say goodbye to their longtime home in the Boston Garden with a preseason game against their biggest rival, the Montreal Canadiens. Milt Schmidt, Johnny Bucyk, Bobby Orr.
Johnny's playing now.
Yeah, and Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito personally lowered their retired numbers from the rafters for the trip to the new Fleet Center, which is now the TD Garden. And though Orr got the biggest ovation and got the honor of taking the last skate around the Garden ice, the highlight of the evening came when Norman Lavelle, a forward forced to retire at 13 years earlier because of a cerebral hemorrhage, appeared on skates. Lavelle helped onto the ice and around the ice by Ray Bourque and Terry O'Reilly as Rene Rancourt sang Au Long Sen.
I don't like that guy.
Who?
Renee, what's his face?
Oh, Rene Rancourt, the
he gets on my nerves.
for the national anthem singer.
Yeah,
for the
I
Boston
get it.
Bruins.
Yeah, sing the
yeah.
national anthem. That's great, but it's all the after stuff. Yeah, let's go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whatever he does, it's too much.
You know what you call guys that do that? Scumbags. I didn't even know who you were talking about, too, until you described it, by the way. That's how
Yeah, he
dense
comes
I
out in a
am.
tuxedo.
Yeah,
and
I
he's
know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
really? It's a little too much.
Bruins fans seem to like it.
I don't know how much they even like it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I think the Bruins just keep him around for tradition reasons, to be honest with you.
I mean, it could possibly be that.
Because
actually.
he was singing their national anthem back in the 70s. So he's been around for a long time.
Well, Lauren Hart's been singing it for the Flyers for how long?
Well, yeah, but not since the 70s. So
I'm not saying that she. I'm not saying it like that, but
But-
I'm just saying like when you find a good anthem singer, hold on to him.
That's true, because Lauren Hart is the number
Unless-
one. No, hold on. She's the number one anthemist in the NHL. Lauren Hart is. So let's acknowledge
Unless you're
that.
the Nashville Predators, and then you just replace them with country singers.
Yeah. True.
So Carrie Underwood's going to be singing the national anthem for the Nashville Preds?
Probably not. Her husband doesn't work for him anymore.
No, that's a good point.
She could sing it in my bedroom.
Mike Fisher can hold the door closed.
That's right. I'm in the 3 ways. He can come too. It's fine.
Hey, I'm not touching that one. That one's all you, Rob.
Okay. Hashtag railroad. All right, moving on. So,
Hashtag this went very south very fast.
Of course, it's got Povia on the show. I send shows south like nobody's business. I got two. All right, I'm going to get it back on the rails. I got two very key questions for you gentlemen in regard to the Philadelphia Flyers. One is, how would you evaluate General Manager Ron Hextall in terms of him towing the line between patience with the young prospects, but yet demanding more of them in the moment?
I think really the way he's done it, shockingly enough, has been pretty good. You know, when you think about it, because we're getting a lot out of guys like Travis Sanheim, Samuel Morin. And really, they're playing very crisp hockey. Again, they haven't played against the starters completely yet, but we'll see. So far, they've been playing very crisp. Where they were able to play very crisp and get that developed was in the Phantoms. So I know we'd like to bash him for waiting too long, but after looking at what we've been seeing so far this preseason, maybe that was the right thing to do, was not just bring them up and thrust them into the NHL spotlight early. So I would say I think he's done a pretty good job. I think I've reevaluated my assessment of that. So
I think a lot of the moves that he did make or couldn't make, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he had his hands tied.
That too.
Stuck with really bad contracts, can't move guys, trying to trade them, can't move them because their value isn't there to make room for some of the young guys. But I don't know. I think he's done a damn good job moving some of these, what I think most of us thought were unmovable contracts. Chris Pronger, Scott Hartnell. He's done. I think he's done a pretty remarkable job overall. And now we're going to see. We start seeing more and more youth as the years go by.
Sure. And the biggest thing that I've seen is that the level of competition, like in this camp going into the Flyers season, is, I won't say it's the greatest I've ever seen as being a Flyers fan, but it's up there. It's up there. There's a lot of guys that know that if they don't play well in this preseason, they're going to start the year with the Phantoms.
Oh, yeah, because there's actual spots for these guys to be battling for, so the competition is going to be higher.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that's phenomenal. I think it's well, obviously it's very healthy for this hockey team, but it gives you're going to see these kids give their all now.
Oh yeah,
because they know their spots open.
Right, exactly. And when you breed competition in camp, that just translates right onto the ice, and really it'll keep a team off to a good start, not keep them from having a slow start as this Flyers team has had over the past couple of years, as well as when it comes to like the level of competition, it's going to create a team that has often not given a full 60-minute effort into a team that will give a 60-minute effort game in and game out. So, yeah, I'm in accordance with you boys. Lastly, what do you want to see this year? And I'll say, I'll phrase it: Ducks for you, Brian, and Flyers for you, Maddie. What do you want to see from your respective teams this season? And then I'll give my answer for the Flyers after you're done.
I want to see. Yeah, I'll go. I want to see
a Stanley Cup.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty apparent. I think that's pretty obvious, but I want to see Corey Perry get back into his scoring ways. I want to see Ryan Getzlaf take more shots on net because that's something he just doesn't do enough of. I want to see the defense play better in the playoffs. I think this is going to be the year that Gibson really blows up and break the hump. Just 10 years since we won our last Stanley Cup. What better way to take the 10-year anniversary is to
only 10 years?
Bring one back to Southern California.
How do you deal?
How do you deal with only 10
Well, with a team that should have probably like 5 or 6 at this point?
You're right,
Come on.
You're right. They let some opportunities go through their
They let way too many.
through their wet fingers.
Maybe
Through their feathers. Come
Through their
on.
feathers. Yeah.
Through their
This guy.
through
Where
their
do we find him?
wings, through their wings.
Off the street.
Off the street. We
Or
just
no,
brought this
they
guy
let
in.
them fall right out of their beak. But it's a different story.
I came in to do radio shows because I was told I would be offered free crack. Yeah. Anyway.
They no, that's what I expect. That's what I'm expecting. I want to see Corey Perry get back to his old ways. I want to see defense step up and play better.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a very good defense. Gibson, I think this is going to be the year that he really turns into the goalie that we think he's going to be.
Right.
And I want to see them finally break that.
You know, well, real quick, Maddie. Sorry. You bring up a great point because there's a great comparison there between a guy we started off this show talking about, Claude Giroux, and Corey Perry, guys that kind of disappeared off the stat sheet but never stopped being a leader for their team. You know, so I mean, you want to see him up the scoring as we want to see Claude Giroux up the scoring, but yet remain that leader.
The one thing that's different between Corey Perry and Claude Giroux is Corey Perry will get under your skin.
Right.
He will do everything he can to piss off a defenseman to take a stupid penalty, maybe to have a goalie take a stupid penalty. And I've seen that happen before. He's actually gotten goalies to get 2-minute slashing penalties or roughing, but you know, he's a goal scorer too. He's a multi 30-goal scorer, 40-goal scorer. Excuse me. He's won the NHL MVP. He's won the scoring title.
Yeah.
You know, he's a prolific scorer in this league, and it's a shame to see him at 31 years old, turning 32 this year, fall off as quickly as he did.
Right. I mean, he didn't get the nickname Scorey Perry for nothing.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I get it.
All right. So, and to be fair, I'd rather see the Ducks Stanley Cup champions than ever see the Penguins ever again raise the Stanley Cup. So,
Well, you don't have to worry about that this year.
no, I don't think so. I think the Penguins, their dynasty is not going to add another cup.
No.
Not right now. All right. For me, what I want to see from the Flyers is I want to see the incorporation of the young talent getting into the defensive side, get them established, get them comfortable, get them ready to know what their role is and establish themselves. And if they can do it, the sooner the better. I expect there to be growing pains, so I don't think it's going to happen right off the bat. But I do expect it to happen a little quicker because they have had their time. They've been maturing. They've had some good time here in training camp as well as the preseason to get an idea of what their role may very well be on this team. Dave Hextall also has fostered a lot of young men in his day as a head coach because of him coaching at the college level, so it should not be too tricky for him to work with younger guys. With that being said, I also expect to see better offensive production. And there's no excuse. The offense has to get better. Because if you want to be a legitimate competitive team in the Eastern Conference, you need to be able to go toe-to-toe with the offenses that you're going to be going up against. And you're not facing any schlap offense. You're not facing scrubs. You're not facing teams that are playing at offense. You're facing teams that have offense. Pittsburgh, Washington, New York, to name a few. Both the Rangers and the Islanders. Point is, these teams have offense. If you want to compete with them, you have to have offensive production. And I know our defensive side's going to get better. I want to see our offensive side get better. That has to get better because that was one of the worst things we had this past season was our offense just disappeared.
Right. Absolutely. That's well said, man. Absolutely well said. I asked this question because I had an answer in mind. Loaded question, I always give them. I'm going to center on two guys here. What I want to see this year is Ivan Provorov and Travis Konechny take the next step. They've been a year in now, right? And they haven't disappointed. But will you take the next step? Will you start to carry this team as two of the elite guys that didn't have to wait with the Phantoms for very long because they were more of that blue chip prospect than some of the other guys that need a little more maturation in either juniors or in the AHL level, right? If as long as I'm seeing the next step taken, that should translate into wins. But if it doesn't, as long as I see that next step taken, I'm never fine with a loss, but I'll be okay with it as long as the level of play is just, like Provorov came off really making, a lot of rookie mistakes. It happened after lighting it up the first couple games. If I see those gone, and if I see Konechny with his head up, making nice, smart plays on the ice, feeding players, scoring goals, right? Like I said, all these things should translate to wins. But even if they don't, as long as I see the next step taken, I'll be satisfied.
I don't think I could have said that any better myself, to be completely honest. As far as expectations for the Flyers this year, my expectations are high for them. I do think that they are a potential playoff team. I don't think they make it, but they are definitely a potential playoff team. They will just miss. But I like that. I like that. I want to see the same thing. I want to see Konechny take the next step. I want to see Provorov take the next step. I want to see the younger guys that are going to be on this roster. I want to see them, take steps to being to prove that they belong in the NHL.
You want to also see Gostisbehere recover after a bit of a rough year last year and reassert himself, which shouldn't be too difficult to see.
You started seeing it towards the tail end of the season, too, so hopefully he can continue that or whatnot and actually hit the net.
Yeah. Well, with Vecchione down there, I mean, that might actually be much, much more easier to do now because he has chemistry with somebody on the forward. So it's just like, oh, okay. Well, he knows what he's going to do before he does it.
Right.
So there you go. That's perfect answer.
Lots of slap passes, you're saying?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah,
lots of pucks in the back of the net through deflections.
Yes.
Most of Vecchione's goals will be deflections this year, I hope, because Gostisbehere shot them. Now,
I actually want to see Vecchione shoot more.
Well, I'm sure he'll shoot. I'm just saying that you would like to see him get in that area, and cause some
I
problems.
mean, he's got a good shot, too, so I would rather see him shoot than sitting out in front of the net.
Yeah.
Well,
the Flyers need a pure sniper.
They
don't have
do.
that either.
Well, I mean, if everything goes right, Konechny could start to become that.
Yeah, Konechny could be
No,
that.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Jordan Wheel can be that, too.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think Jordan Wheel starts this season on the second line.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
So
there you go. If they put Wheel on the wing, there's your first line winger, and Konechny, your second line winger, is going to be Wheel. And if they both are snipers, you're in good shape.
I'm going to throw one more name in that in terms of a player I want to see take the next step, and that's Scott Lawton.
Scott Lawton, yeah.
Big time, because he could be a future star in this league, and he can really, we were talking about in the beginning of the show moving Giroux to a wing. Imagine if Lawton takes that next step and be his center iceman. That would be a nice recipe.
I'm glad you brought him up. I want to see him play a full 82 games.
Yes.
He doesn't have to have a great 82. I just want to see him play a full season.
Right.
Between him not being healthy and then him just having the worst luck on the face of the planet on the ice, he has not had good seasons. And it's not necessarily his fault. I mean, the lines he's played on are terrible. And that's not his fault. But he just keeps getting hurt. That's the biggest problem he has. He can't stay healthy.
Right.
I agree. He's a very injury-prone player. Ton of talent in the world. He's a top prospect.
Yeah.
But,
I
mean, at this point, he's not really a prospect anymore, but
yeah.
he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, he does.
His game is not going to get better if he's not staying on the ice and working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any sport, specifically hockey.
Yeah.
You need to play it. I mean, the weird part is, for the longest time, he was our top forward prospect, and then the injuries just started piling up, and it just became a problem for him. So hopefully he can play a full 82. Hopefully he can get himself on track. Maybe he can play with better players, and that could get him going. Well, hopefully that'll be what the future is.
Yeah, he's got a world of talent.
Yes.
World of talent.
We'll see. We'll see moving forward. But David Roska had decided to chime in again. He says, Giroux to Anaheim with Perry. Can you give me could you give me a couple of players? I would like, since we're trading our captain, I want your captain. I want Ryan Getzlaf. And
first of all, right there, you're gonna stop. If we're swapping captains, that's all you're getting. You might need to add more to our end if we're giving you Ryan Getzlaf.
Well, he says Giroux to Anaheim with Perry, so I'm thinking, does that mean that he's going to be with Corey
He'll
Perry?
be on a line with Corey Perry.
So that's my point. My point is I want Ryan Getzlaf. If you're going to take our captain, I want your captain.
Fine.
I want your captain. As simple as that.
But you're still going to have to give us more than just Giroux.
Oh, then what more would you want?
Okay, we're going to play this game. If you
Getzlaff's
trade us Giroux,
I'll give you Matt Reed.
and no. Oh, this is fun.
Rocco Gudis.
Stop it. Stop it. You know I don't like him.
Getzlaff's 32, man. He's old.
So? He's productive. He'll give you 50, 55, 60 assists a year.
This is truth.
Hence
On
why.
top of probably 15 goals.
Hey, I like Ryan Getzlaff.
I
He's a
love
fabulous
Ryan
player.
Getzlaff.
Hence why Giroux gets traded to Anaheim. We get Ryan Getzlaff. Deal's done. It's a fair deal. It's a fair deal, I believe. I think that's an absolutely appropriate deal.
How about a three-way deal? Since I'm in the three-ways, you sent Getzlaff to the Flyers, right?
I'm a little nervous
Giroux
about
goes to the Avalanche,
Giroux
and you guys get Nate McKinnon.
there you go. Win-win. Win-win right there. Win-win. The only team that loses is Colorado.
That's intriguing, but I still don't know if I want to give up Getzlaff. There's nobody in the league that has a better repertoire with the officials than Ryan Getzlaff has.
And that is exactly why I want him on my team. We need some
fair
good rep
enough.
with the officials because we're the
Fair
Flyers,
enough.
damn it.
I mean, I completely understand that. Ryan Getzlaff,
All that good rep
he's
would
a
go
duck
away.
forever.
If he was a
If he
Flyer.
was on the
Yeah.
Flyers.
Oh, he is a duck forever.
He's a duck forever. He's spending his
He's
career there.
retired.
Well, thanks, David. Thanks us for giving us our vessel of torture for Mr. Brian Daly for this show.
It's not really torture,
Giroux-
though, because
Giroux-
I'd take Giroux in a heartbeat.
Giroux for Silverberg.
No,
I think I would do that.
you would. Oh,
I think I would do that.
You
The
don't-
reason
you
is
don't want
because
Voracek?
Stop it! We're not trading Giroux. Stop it! Not you, Brian.
I think I would do that. I mean, as much as I would love to see Silverberg in Anaheim and grow and have his breakout since we missed out on Kyle Palmieri, we could easily replace him. We have more winger. We have a lot of winger prospects that we could bring up. Guys like Max Jones. Max Jones they expect to be big, but I could easily see Giroux on a second line wing with Anaheim. Won't happen. This is completely rhetorical and hypothetical, but yeah, I would like that. I would do that.
Plus, also, Ron Hextall was the GM of the Kings. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to trade with the Anaheim Ducks.
If the deal's right, I think, and it improves the roster, I could see Ron Hextall trading with anybody. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Why wouldn't he trade with Anaheim?
I'm just joking. Relax.
Phantom 67 chiming in. No, Drew stays in Philly. Yeah, this is just
That was just,
hypothetical, rhetorical. Anything you can think of. It's Giroux's not going anywhere.
David Roska threw it out there, so we just wanted to play with it. Why not?
Plus, they like torturing me.
Yes, as it's our pastime here on the Hockey Happy Hour. Got to have some fun.
But yeah, Drew's not going anywhere. Drew's going to be a Flyer for a long time. Don't have to worry about that. He's going to at least finish out his contract.
I will finish with this. Do you think Giroux is a Flyer for life?
For life, no.
How long do you think he stays a Flyer? I mean, he's got a long contract. Do you think he
No.
finishes that contract out, or do you think that maybe when 2 years left, maybe the Flyers move him?
Well, that'll vary on two things. One, how much longer is his contract? He's got another 6 years.
Something
Five or 6 years.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. It all depends on his production, his leadership ability, what they have on their roster at that point. I think he at least finishes out his contract in Philly. At least. I don't think he gets traded, but I think he at least finishes out his contract.
All right. Rob, do you think Giroux is a Flyer for life?
Let's see here. Well, he's good till 21-22. And,
Oh, I was off.
yeah. So that would take him to, let's see here, age 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I honestly do, because Drew's such a good team player. He's already acknowledged he'd be willing to go to the wing, whatever's great for the team. And if it gets to a point where, maybe it's time to bump you down to the second line, maybe even the third line down the road, he'll do it. And that's the type of guys that stay with one team. Even if this would be hard to say or definitively, but even if you were to strip the C from him, I think normally a guy would have to go, I think he would be a type of guy that would stay.
And you think he'd do what Joe Thornton did, just whatever's best for the team.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, well, that will do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. I'd like to thank everybody who chimed in on Facebook and on the YouTube, and for anyone who catched us on a2dradio.com, where you can catch us every Tuesday. Thank you, and for all of your needs, we are in the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. If you need to get a car, go to BMW of Atlantic City. You can give a call at 609-568-9200. You can visit them online at www.bmwatlanticcity.com. They are located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. It is last call time for all of us here. I am Matt Sassuti. This is Brian the Darkwing Daily. Rob the Broken One Povia. We will catch you next week here on a2dradio.com.